Do you think philosophy and absolute power can't go hand in hand? Think again. While many leaders throughout history were driven by conquest and domination, there was one emperor who ruled differently. Marcus Aurelius, the leader of the most powerful empire of the ancient world, didn't rely solely on military strength or political games. He governed with something few would dare combine with power: Stoic philosophy. How could a man, with so many responsibilities and pressures, seek calm and self-control above all else? What led Marcus Aurelius to make decisions that many would see as contrary to the nature of an emperor? Today, we're diving into how the philosophical mind of Marcus Aurelius shaped Roman governance, influencing his decisions and redefining leadership. Get ready to discover how an emperor wove Stoicism into the most crucial decisions of his empire, and how his beliefs guided him through times of crisis and conflict. Born into a prominent family, Marcus Aurelius was groomed for power from an early age. However, unlike many Roman leaders, his path to the throne was deeply intertwined with his intellectual curiosity. Educated by some of the most revered philosophers of the time, Marcus Aurelius became fascinated by Stoicism. His studies went beyond the typical education of an emperor, seeking a deeper understanding of virtue, wisdom, and the nature of the universe. This grounding in philosophy would later prove to be the cornerstone of his leadership, as he transitioned from a student of Stoicism to its living embodiment as a ruler. As he ascended to the throne, Marcus Aurelius found himself in a unique position. Despite wielding immense power as the leader of the Roman Empire, he remained a humble student of philosophy. His meditations, written in the midst of military campaigns and political challenges, reflect his constant internal struggle to balance the weight of ruling with the pursuit of personal virtue. The teachings of Stoicism, particularly the idea of accepting fate and focusing on what one can control, deeply resonated with him. Rather than viewing his role as emperor as an opportunity for personal gain, he saw it as a duty, one where philosophy could serve as a guide for making just decisions. What set Marcus Aurelius apart was his ability to integrate philosophical teachings with the realities of ruling an empire. While other emperors sought glory through conquest or political maneuvering, Marcus Aurelius strived for a different kind of success, a moral and ethical one. He understood the transient nature of power, wealth, and fame, and instead focused on governing in accordance with Stoic principles. This approach not only shaped his personal decisions, but also influenced his policies, which often emphasized the well-being of the people over the expansion of territory or personal prestige. His reign was marked by numerous challenges, both external and internal. From the onset, Marcus Aurelius faced wars, plagues, and economic difficulties, yet he approached each crisis with a stoic calmness. His philosophical background allowed him to maintain a sense of inner peace amidst the chaos. In Stoicism, adversity is seen as an opportunity to practice virtue, and Marcus Aurelius embraced this mindset. Rather than letting the pressures of leadership consume him, he leaned into the teachings of Stoicism, seeing every challenge as a chance to grow in wisdom, patience, and fortitude. At the core of his leadership was a commitment to the greater good. He often reflected on his responsibilities not only as an emperor, but as a human being bound by the same universal laws as everyone else. This sense of duty, coupled with a philosophical understanding of life's impermanence, drove Marcus Aurelius to lead with compassion and justice. His reign, though fraught with difficulties, is remembered as one of moral integrity, shaped not by a thirst for power, but by the stoic desire to live in harmony with nature and reason. Central to Marcus Aurelius' reign was the Stoic belief in focusing on what one can control while accepting what cannot be changed. For the Stoic, inner peace comes from understanding that external events, whether good or bad, are beyond our control. Instead, what matters is how we respond to them. As emperor, Marcus Aurelius applied this principle in his governance, remaining calm in the face of wars, plagues, and internal unrest. He understood that while he could not always prevent external calamities, he could control his reactions and decisions, always striving to act in accordance with reason and and virtue. Another key Stoic principle that Marcus Aurelius embodied was the idea of living in accordance with nature. For Stoics, nature is rational, and human beings are part of a greater cosmic order. This belief led Marcus to view his role as emperor not as a privilege, but as a natural duty. His leadership was not about personal glory, but about fulfilling his responsibility to the empire and its people. He believed that by acting justly and rationally, he was playing his part in the grand design of the universe. This sense of duty drove many of his decisions, particularly those that prioritized the welfare of his people over his own desires. Virtue for Marcus Aurelius was the highest good. In Stoicism, virtue is defined as moral excellence, and it consists of 4 cardinal values: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. As emperor, Marcus Aurelius sought to embody these virtues in every decision he made. Wisdom guided his thoughtful approach to governance, ensuring that his policies were based on reason and logic. Courage helped him face the immense pressures of ruling the vast Roman Empire, especially during times of crisis. Justice informed his commitment to fairness and equity, while temperance ensured that he avoided the excesses of power and wealth that had corrupted many of his predecessors. Despite holding the highest position in the empire, Marcus Aurelius practiced humility, another key Stoic trait. He recognized his own limitations and was constantly aware of his mortality. In his meditations, he often reminded himself of the fleeting nature of life, urging himself to act with integrity and purpose while he still had the chance. This awareness of life's impermanence helped him maintain perspective during difficult times, preventing him from becoming consumed by the trappings of power or the stress of leadership. Instead, he remained focused on his Stoic pursuit of living a virtuous and meaningful life. Throughout his reign, Marcus Aurelius also emphasized the importance of duty and responsibility. For the Stoics, life is not about seeking pleasure or avoiding pain, but about fulfilling one's role in society to the best of one's ability. As emperor, Marcus Aurelius viewed his leadership not as a means of personal enrichment, but as a responsibility to the Roman people. He saw himself as a servant of the empire, tasked with maintaining order and justice. His dedication to this Stoic ideal of duty influenced many of his policies, ensuring that he led with a sense of purpose and moral clarity. Marcus Aurelius' reign was defined by constant warfare and crisis, yet he remained remarkably composed through it all. One of his most significant challenges was the Marcomannic Wars, a series of brutal conflicts along the northern frontiers of the empire. Despite the relentless pressures of leading military campaigns and defending the borders of Rome, Marcus Aurelius managed to retain his Stoic calm. He viewed these wars not as personal burdens, but as duties he had to face with resilience and rationality. Stoicism taught him that suffering and hardship were inevitable parts of life, but what mattered was how he chose to endure them. Even during the Antonine Plague, a devastating epidemic that swept through the empire, Marcus Aurelius' Stoic mindset helped him maintain a sense of control. The plague caused widespread death and economic turmoil, yet the emperor responded not with panic, but with practical and thoughtful solutions. He recognized that while the outbreak was beyond his control, his responsibility was to mitigate its effects as much as possible. His calmness under pressure and refusal to be swayed by fear or despair were testaments to his Stoic practice, which taught that emotional turmoil should never dictate actions. On the battlefield, Marcus Aurelius' Stoicism was not just a personal philosophy but a tool for leadership. He inspired his troops by exemplifying the Stoic virtues of endurance and courage. Rather than seeking to glorify his own role in these military campaigns, he consistently emphasized collective responsibility and the importance of discipline. His letters and writings from the war front reflect a leader who remained grounded, continually reflecting on the transient nature of victory and defeat. For Marcus, Stoicism was not about retreating into a passive acceptance of fate, but about using philosophy to maintain clarity and focus in the midst of chaos. His Stoic approach also shaped his responses to internal crises, such as political unrest and betrayal within the Roman Senate. Marcus Aurelius understood that he could not control the actions of others, but he could control how he responded to them. While other emperors might have resorted to brutality or vengeance to quell dissent, Marcus chose a more measured and philosophical approach. He often showed leniency toward political rivals and sought reconciliation where possible, believing that mercy and understanding were greater virtues than ruthlessness. His restraint in dealing with enemies demonstrated a deeper commitment to Stoic ethics, even when it went against conventional political wisdom. Through all the challenges he faced, Marcus Aurelius remained a philosopher at heart. He used Stoicism as a shield against despair, allowing him to navigate the most turbulent periods of his reign without losing his sense of purpose. Whether in the face of war, disease, or political intrigue, Marcus stayed true to his Stoic principles, consistently prioritizing reason and virtue over emotional reactions. His ability to maintain serenity in the face of relentless adversity became one of his defining characteristics as a ruler. And it was precisely this Stoic strength that allowed him to lead Rome through some of its most difficult times. Marcus Aurelius' influence did not end with his death. His writings, particularly Meditations, have become timeless works of philosophy, continuing to inspire leaders across centuries. In the modern world, his Stoic principles offer a framework for leadership that emphasizes self-discipline, humility, and a sense of duty, qualities that resonate with many who seek to lead ethically and effectively. His approach to leadership, grounded in Stoicism, provides a powerful alternative to the authoritarian or self-serving models that have often characterized history's most infamous rulers. In the realm of business and politics today, many leaders look to Marcus Aurelius for guidance on how to manage stress and responsibility. The Stoic concept of focusing on what is within one's control has proven to be particularly relevant in high-pressure environments. In a world filled with constant uncertainty, Marcus' teachings on acceptance of external events and control of one's internal state offer a path toward calm and rational decision-making. His philosophy encourages modern leaders to remain grounded, even in the face of adversity, and to make decisions based on reason rather than emotion. Another significant aspect of Marcus Aurelius' legacy is his emphasis on servant leadership. Unlike many of his contemporaries, who saw power as an opportunity for personal enrichment, Marcus viewed it as a responsibility to the people he governed. This idea of leading with the well-being of others in mind has gained traction in modern leadership theories, particularly in corporate environments. Leaders who adopt a Stoic mindset are more likely to prioritize long-term sustainability and ethical practices over short-term gains or personal accolades, embodying the values Marcus Aurelius championed. Furthermore, Marcus Aurelius' commitment to justice and fairness continues to inspire those in positions of authority. His belief in ruling with compassion and moral clarity, even in the face of difficult choices, sets a powerful example for today's leaders who struggle with balancing ethical considerations and pragmatic demands. The Stoic ideal of acting justly, regardless of the personal cost, is a principle that remains as relevant today as it was during Marcus Aurelius' time. His legacy reminds modern leaders that true success is measured not by power or wealth, but by the virtue of one's actions. The impact of Marcus Aurelius' Stoicism is particularly evident in the growing popularity of Stoic philosophy in contemporary self-help and leadership literature. Books and seminars on how to apply Stoic principles in everyday life are now widely available, reflecting the enduring relevance of his ideas. His thoughts on resilience, emotional regulation, and ethical leadership continue to guide individuals striving to lead with integrity in both their personal and professional lives. As the challenges of leadership evolve, the Stoic wisdom of Marcus Aurelius remains a timeless source of strength and insight.